Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Mortgage Heroes Weekly Podcast. I'm Andy Cruz.
Will Flores.
Brian Landeros, Lens Money __ on Instagram.
Nice. All right, guys, we got a new topic this week. We're going to talk about traditional trends for spring and summer buying season. I armed you with this week's article. It is spring home buying season is here, but consumer pessimism looms. Now, we're not going to go down the pessimistic route. We're going to talk about some things today, but let's start first by talking about why do people move in the spring and summer? Let's go.
So traditionally, people move in the spring and summer because it's when people are out of school. A lot of people have more times, So it's when they have that freedom to be able to say, "Hey, I want to move to a new area," or "Hey, the kids are out from school, so I could go explore new, new school areas or new areas that we want to live in." But ultimately, sellers as well, they feel like they could upsell the house a little bit higher because of the demand coming in. Opposed to winter and fall, where it starts to slow down. I feel summer really just picks up because of the fact that everyone's out.
Sometimes both sides of the deal is looking at the same thing.
Or they're looking for new parks around the area to hide the Easter eggs. You know what I mean? And hopefully a bunny will pop out of that thing. And so that kind of attracts a lot of homeowners to go around the area. And hey, there's a park around here. Perfect place for next year for me to hide my Easter eggs.
I totally missed that point. I totally missed that point in the article where Easter eggs was the number one reason.
The articles miss a lot of things, Andy. We're out here in the trenches, so we know more about what's happening in the community because we ask the questions.
It's so funny. That's good.
But the sun's starting to come up. We don't have that June gloom yet, And although this year we've had a lot of clouds, a lot of rain, kind of feels like Seattle.
I feel since January it's been literally raining.
But the traditions usually sun's up. Let's go. I'm refreshed. I'm getting that vitamin D. Let's go out there, and I have the energy to go look for a home.
Exactly.
So that's one of the things. The other things is, your kids are off for a week, or maybe even two. In my case, it's like it seems like they're off for a month, right? Because you have like so many. You have the two kids there, then their friends. So it feels like a month long, and can you guys go back to school?
Depending on the school district, or especially if the kids are going from elementary to middle school or middle school to high school, the time off is going to be a lot longer. But also that's like the reason, like people, sometimes I know for our case, like I've had friends where their kid plays a competitive sport, basketball, baseball, football, lacrosse, something, and they're like, oh, we're going to be in this school zone. We have to move there. So like sometimes that's driving it. But traditionally, like you guys are saying, like it's just a time where I think people are like, they're thawed out from the winter. They're looking optimistically about what's going on for the rest of the year. And like, this is our time to move. And there tend to be more houses on the market because they're also doing the same thing.
Exactly. It's like New Year's resolution did not start January 1st.
Nope.
Like, we thought we started at that time, but now we're waiting for it.
We're barely starting the year off right now. Oh my God.
So that's how it is. But this market is different, you guys.
100%.
Very, very different. It's like, where are you, homeowners? Put your houses on the market. I just met up with one of my realtor friends, and he's telling me like, dude, great. We got a listing out there. 33 listings in the area when the norm is 200 plus. So get a load of that.
That's a drastic drop.
And you heard that.
No, of course. It's ridiculous. So one of the biggest trends I am seeing, and it's something you mentioned on a Monday Mortgage Minute, is that people are transacting on a need-to basis, meaning that if they need to sell because they paid off debt or they can't pay for the payment anymore, that's one of the reasons they're selling. Buyers, if they're just fed up with renting, their rent's going up, it's going to continue to go up. They're like, hey, well, I have a great income right now. My credit's good. I have enough money saved in the bank. I think it's a good time to buy. Which I think that's honestly the three questions you should be asking yourself if you want to buy. Is your credit good? Do you have enough sizable income to be able to put down for your down payment and closing costs? And how long do you expect to be in the house? And if it's a long-term commitment, then right now it's probably a good time to get in because buying a house right now, it's probably not going to be a 2-year turnaround and sell it for a profit.
Oh, no.
You missed that bus in 2020. That's not happening anymore.
Though, again, I like to specify that it is a weird market.
Yes.
And because it's simple economics, right? That's one thing I've learned when I went to, college and economics 101. Supply and demand.
100%.
So we don't know. Like, it's pretty crazy because it's just, you don't know when there's not a lot of supply. Guess what happens to the property prices?
They stay.
We were seeing a couple of months ago, 2-1 buy down. Yeah, let's get our realtors pumped up. Let's go negotiate. Lately,
the market said no.
Yeah. Yeah.
The market is telling us that ain't gonna happen.
No, not here. It's literally like if you're going up for a slam dunk, psych, swatted.
Yes.
Oh, you thought?
Yeah. So we thought like, oh, those are gonna be good, or the seller tell you one or two things. We're willing to take that offer, but increase your purchase price.
100%. Right.
You know, because me as a seller, I am not going to contribute to that. But if you want it that bad and you think the value is going to be there, well, then just mark up the price another 20, 30,000, whatever you're asking for.
And that's still happening. I'm still seeing it. Literally, some of my buyers are literally fighting that right now where it's like, multiple offers and the bidding wars are starting to loom, which is actually something that actually really happens in the spring, summer where everybody starts to come. So if we're already experiencing bidding wars and we haven't even hit the hottest, time of the market, then what do we expect when the market does heat up even more and there's not that many houses to sell?
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. Well, and I think also too, like for people watching or listening to this right now, like the time to prepare for spring and summer is actually the winter or even the fall before.
Yeah.
Because if there's things that are like maybe potentially barriers for entry for you, whether it's credit or income or inconsistency of income, needing to save more money for reserves, like those can be things that take months to cure, not just like hours or days.
Right.
So we're having this conversation about spring and summer, but also for those of you who maybe are late to the game for this spring or summer, then you can actually start now. You don't even have to wait till the fall to be ready for the next cycle. Like do it now. Do the things you need to do right now.
Yeah. One of the things that we've been noticing, luckily we're getting a lot of people wanting to buy.
Yeah.
They're just kind of taking that first step a little, but like, oh, should I do it? And I'm all like, encourage them. Just do it.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean you're going to buy anything.
Nope. Right.
That's just setting up the gameplay as you move forward.
But they're kind of more methodical, or is that what you
Very
mean?
methodical. Well, do I think I could afford this? Do I not think? But here we are to analyze the whole financial situation in order to really help them push them to that. Well, if you do want to buy it, now here you are.
Yeah.
You know, we had a couple of clients where we told them, hey, you have to get rid of that car, right? That car payment. And they're like, well, wait a minute. It saves me energy. It saves me gas, and I really like my car. But here's where you balance it out.
Right.
Do I sell my car to buy that home?
To prioritize,
So it's just giving them a different perspective on things.
Yeah.
You know, another thing that I told Brian yesterday, we used it. Hey, there's swap-a-lease. If you need a vehicle and you don't want it to be under your name, is very similar to how I've been purchasing homes, subject to.
So the way that you told me that, it was actually beautiful. I'm going to bring it up because of the fact that I then called him. I talked to the credit guy that's helping him boost his credit. He's like, hey, you can't finance anything right now. Please. He's trying to buy a house. I'm like, okay, what can we do? So then you told me swap a lease. He took it to the next level and said, hey, let's open up a business, an LLC. Let's put the lease under the business. Now we'll never report on his credit. Yes, you'll get the inquiry on his personal credit, but is the debt going to report to his personal credit or his business credit?
No.
Business credit. So therefore his debt to income ratio when he goes to buy a house is still untouched without that payment.
Yeah.
And he's like, you know what he said? Don't put any assets under your personal name.
No liabilities. Minimize your liabilities.
Yeah.
That's thinking outside the box.
Yes. So
is really what it is.
Thank you for being the one that thinks of family.
Hey, I just think it's because, I have a lot of experience at 20.
Well, also scenarios and situations that require that. You have to get creative. You have to figure out ways to make things work for people. Especially because if they're having a priority conversation, they're saying to you, this is important. I want this to work out for me. How do I make this happen? And you have to come up with methods and solutions for them to deploy in the market.
And that's exactly like what I want everybody to get from that, is that if he didn't give me a call and he went and did it himself, he could have shot himself in the foot, right?
Yeah,
he said first, he's like, hey, I want to do this, but I first wanted to bounce the idea off of you to see how that's going to play out in my real estate plan. And I was like, bro, thank you. I wish all our clients did that and they didn't just go finance that car.
Whoever you are, we're applauding you.
Shout out to Chris Aguilar.
There you go.
But that right there makes me feel like, okay, they are coming to us because they trust us with the fact that we're going to point them in the right direction for their future goals. And in that instance, I think it was a beautiful combination from you helping me, get that idea to then putting it together and then giving him the option, because right now he's taking the bus to work, right? Why? Because he wants.
That's a sacrifice.
He's sacrificing his work, his transportation to work because he wants to buy a property here that's going to basically down the line help him get his foot into financial stability, right? He's a young guy. He's, I believe, 26 years old. He's in the Navy. He's in Hawaii. He's away from his town. He already bought a house here. So he just understands the leverage and the power that he has with his VA loan. And he's like, how can I leverage this to the max while I'm inside right now? And I'm like, bro, thank you so much for being so transparent and open because this is helping us understand how we can help more people.
Thank you for being a student, allowing the teacher to teach. You know what I mean?
And he's very grateful. And like, it's almost awesome because it's like, he really comes to us with that, like, what should I do next? And I'm like, dude, for me, I take that as a pride to be able to give you the, the opportunities and the options for you to succeed.
Yeah.
So we're talking about the, people being pessimistic, and, you brought up a word right now, Andy, it's getting creative. I think a lot of homeowners are being creative now. They're starting to think, how do I get creative in leveraging just my current property? So spring's coming here. Normally they'd be like, hey, I want to sell because I want a bigger home.
Yep.
I'm thinking of growing my family, or I'm thinking maybe mom and dad I'm going to have to take care of. So I have to start looking at that one story going from a two. Yep. So we will see a lot of activity, prior to. But now remember, one of the things we did in the last few years is we refinanced the nation.
Yeah, refinanced everybody,
So when we're looking at like rates are at 2%,
you get a 2, you get a 2, you get a 2, you get a 2.5. Shit, everybody gets 2.5. Shoot, sorry.
It felt like Dumb and Dumber, right? When he's just giving out the money.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Here you go.
Here you go. Here you go. It was a great thing. So people are now starting to say like, well, wait a minute. I'm not going to sell my house. I'm just going to keep it.
Yeah.
Rents are going up. I can take advantage of that.
Yep.
Hold on to this, and whatever I'm making in the difference, that helps me pay for my other payment. And I think that's what's happening with more people. They're starting to become more homers. And I know we talked about this at in our later podcast, but I want to bring it up again because those are the facts of the matter 100%. Of why there's a lot of influence of the lack of inventory that's going on now.
Yeah, and I think it's important like that we have to address the pessimism, because the pessimism doesn't necessarily apply to everybody. So if you're seeing pessimism, and even if you might be translating some of the negative news we have to discuss here and bring to everybody to like dissect and then translate, like that doesn't mean you have to be pessimistic about it. Yeah. Because the pessimism is going to take you, it's not going to take you anywhere. It's not going to take you you far, and especially not going to help you cross the bridge of getting into home ownership if you're not in home ownership right now.
Yeah.
So like one of the things I just really wanted to make sure everyone heard today is that like if you aren't going to do something about it now, then you're still going to have to make that decision later when you are ready to get going. And if you're just waiting for the market to get better because the market's better, then you're literally letting it dictate what you do.
One example I can use, I was pessimistic yesterday putting gas in my car. I'm pessimistic about the prices, but guess what? If I want to drive that thing, guess what I have to do?
Put gas in it.
Gas it up.
You know what I mean?
You got to give it the
So
fuel.
a lot of us, we're talking about, hey, how do I create generational wealth? Well, if you get out of that, being on the fence, you have to go own something. You have to take a risk. You have to go and do it. Yeah. When we bought our first home, we weren't counting and banking that appreciation. We knew that we had invested in our family, and we knew that this is a long-term thing.
Yeah. I think it's putting your foot in the door to financial stability.
That's it.
That one house is just going to take you to another, and then from there you could build that generational wealth. Yeah. I feel it honestly comes down to two things: money and finances, right? If your money isn't where it needs to be right now, and then if you're noticing in your market that houses are coming up for sale, and then prices aren't going down, those are indicators that maybe the prices aren't going to go down anytime soon. And if there's not that much inventory coming out, I'm sorry, I repeated it wrong. Then that means, and I feel that, it gives people the outlook that, hey, it's not slowing down here. Things are only going higher. And if you see the data year over year, I mean, it's still spiking up. Even though it's not at the highest as it was previous years, it's still going up.
Yeah, the dip was very slight.
The dip was very slight, exactly. But then now it's still going up. So that only means that, hey, like you can wait, but it's only going to get more expensive if you see the data. Now you can wait for the dip, but that's only going to dip for how long? Until it goes right back up.
That's what leaves people on the outside looking in. Yeah. And I think that's one of the things that I can't say I'm fearful. I'm not fearful of it. It's just thing that it disappoints me. Yeah. When I see people who want to buy a house, they want to own, but then they're on the outside looking in. I'm like, dang it, you could be still getting that house. You could be. So it's like, I don't know. I don't know. As people are watching this and listening to this, I just want them to be on the inside. I want them to be winning. I don't want them to be on the outside looking in.
One of the things that I look at it right now, like we're saying, on a need-to basis, but if you're able to get into your house right now, what you're doing is you're future pacing to either set your house up for a cash flowing rental once rates come down. And then that's going to help you then achieve the higher price point that you're looking for, because you could use the qualifying rental income from that property if you decide to flip it into a rental. Yeah. Or if you hold it, you could sell it and transfer that equity to another property that's bigger, right? Yep. So if you don't buy a house, now those two options aren't available to you. Yeah. So it's like you're still at square one.
So what do I get in door number 1.
Yeah, you get door number 2.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
But the point is to get your foot in the door because it's a long-term play and not a short-term play. So if you're looking at it from that point of view, then it's always going to make sense for you to be able to buy the house, regardless of the price you get it at. I mean, you see the prices, they go up, they come down, but ultimately,
for the long haul,
they've gone.
Listen, legacies aren't built in 1 year.
Nope.
Right? Yeah. Legacies are built with traditions. Sometimes we're even born into a family business.
Yeah.
You know, and those hard legacies are created.
Yep.
And so that's it. All has to start somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, I know I broke a lot of traditions growing up. A lot. I've been a trendsetter in my family for a lot of things.
Well, and in doing so, created new ones.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
100%.
And it's just that, you know, one of those things that you just jump off a cliff, right? You're gonna get some scratches and bruises.
Yeah.
But you know, after everything's said and done, that's where you learn the most.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so here we are. We're only expressing what we know.
Yeah.
What we lived. You know, so
100%.
what we're trying to do is encourage, bring the data. The data's out there.
Yeah.
You know, so here in San Diego, I like to bring the point, like, we're insulated. If you look at how we're building, everybody wants to be near downtown. I know I do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I like to be in the city, but if you look south, can we build south there? No. Why, Brian?
Mexico.
That's it. We're stopped. Our border stops us. And then if we go to the east, guess what those mountains are? Preserved.
Yep.
Can't do it. And we're certainly not Dubai.
Yeah.
Can't build in the ocean.
Can't build.
We don't have that technology right now, right?
I
mean, that would be pretty cool. Create a little island that looks like the world, you know, like those guys are just at a different level, you know? And then, so it's just Camp, then you go and Camp Pendleton stops you right there.
Yeah. Northbound. You
know what I mean, guys? So it's like, our population continues to grow. And that's a fact. Every 50 years, they say our population doubles.
Yeah.
Google that. I did.
Well,
but population doubles. And so we're going to continue to run into the issues of supply and demand.
Yep. And I mean, right now, you know, with this, you know, talking about the seasonal trends and deciding if people are going to buy or not. I mean, this really just comes down to the personal decision.
That's it.
I mean, are you going to do or not do the thing? And then to do the thing, what do you have to accomplish? Like what barriers or entry do you have to come across or to cross, and what walls you have to knock down. And that's what we're here for. That's what we're here for, to help people do. For those who are willing and want to, that's who we can help the best. If you're unwilling, I can say this more maybe candidly than you guys. If you're unwilling, I'm sorry, we can't help you.
Yeah.
If you are willing, these guys can help you.
Here we are.
Hey, he said that.
No, it's just true.
It's true.
You know, I just want people listening and watching to know, like, we can help you if you want the help. If you're willing to do the work and get yourself in a position where you can win, we can totally help you.
Yeah.
If not, the seasonal trends can pass you by and you could be on the outside looking in.
Yeah. You know, I want to share this because maybe a lot of people aren't going through it, or they are, but I had a couple of calls. And so Andy was mentioning a couple of weeks ago, is there a PCS season?
Yeah. That's right.
That's where, you know, people are transitioning jobs into a different location for military personnel. So I had a client and she's adamant, I don't want to sell my house. She bought in Lakeside a year and a half ago. I love my house. I'm thinking I'm going to come back. I don't want to sell it. I'd rather rent it, and maybe I'm going to take a little loss or what have you, but I'd rather keep it. Can you connect me with somebody that does mortgages in Florida? So I'm like, hey, there you go. So I make sure they connect back with their realtor, because that way they can do some due diligence for our client, make sure that she's choosing the right realtor also, you know? Another case is where my client is retiring. He's like, that's it. I'm going to retire in a year and a half, 2 years, but I'd rather prepare now because I already know what's going to happen, and I already know where I'm going to go live. I'm going to go to Tennessee, right?
Right, okay.
So they're already looking for a home. Wife is a disabled vet. Thank you for your service, by the way. And so they already started looking.
Yeah.
They already started looking in Tennessee. She's going to move over there. He already planned ahead, like, hey, I'm going to go ahead and PCS for 8 months.
Right.
So I'm already not going to be here for 8 months. So what if you go over there, one, capture the better price that you have right now. I know rates are high right now, whatever it is, but I'd rather do that. So those are the things that we're seeing more of.
That's real good.
Which is pretty cool. You know, that's what you're talking about. We're always talking about the 3 Ps. I think that one right there, just boom, hit it right on.
Yeah,
Triple
good.
P.
That's awesome. That's a great story. Thank you for both those are great stories. Thank you for sharing both those today, guys. That was a good chat, guys. I really appreciate you bringing it all to the table. We're going to have much more kind of along these lines in the upcoming weeks, but that'll do it for this week. Thank you guys very much for joining me again for the Mortgage Heroes Weekly Podcast. Thank you all for watching and listening, and we'll see you all again next week.
Bye, guys. And in case you guys missed our bunny rabbit cheers, make sure to go to YouTube. It's right there. You'll see how Andy looks like a nice rabbit.
I hope you missed.
Yeah.